Alright, starting this video out by giving love to the sponsor of this video. This video is brought to you by Displate. Displate offers high quality prints on metal with a ton of options available. Movies, video games, comic books, comic book movies. And I bring those examples up because I talk about movies, video games, comic book movies here. They also have an impressive collection of nature, life, art, astronomy. Hanging the prints on the wall, really simple. Just wipe down the wall, stick the magnet to the wall, the print sticks to the magnet. And if you hang a proper Halloween print in your sponsorship segment, you're like, it's November now. Changing out any prints as easy as 1, 2, done. Simple as changing out a magnet on a fridge. So click the link in the description, get yourself a special discount, 32% off of 1 or 2 prints, or 38% off of 3 or more prints. That is for a limited time though, so act fast. And thank you once again to Displate for sponsoring this video. I do appreciate it. And now let's talk about a movie which is the epitome of the phrase, I'm not crying, you're crying. So Black Panther: Wakanda Forever is the newest film in the MCU, the sequel to Black Panther, and is a film that took on a seemingly impossible task in which the real-life tragic passing of Chadwick Boseman is worked into the script of this movie in which King T'Challa has passed. And while this tragedy has befallen Wakanda, a new character named Namor, or Namor. I know internet's like, his name is Namor, they call him Namor in the movie, but in the movie, some people call him Namor, some call him Namor. Which I appreciate. People like me who suck with names, there's no way we can mispronounce it. That's nice. But he's from a super secret underwater civilization that's legally not Atlantis. Though in the comic books it's Atlantis, but they can't say that. Point is, it's a civilization of blue people who live in water. It's part of the MCU, not the other property that Disney also owns. And now they're having conflict with Wakanda. Emotions are high, tensions are high. Which, before I get to what really carried the film for me, I'm gonna talk about basically, I'm going to treat this like a dish. I'm going to start on the outside and just work my way in. So I thought Namor was a good villain. I say that, I have to say that, I have to address it because it's an MCU villain. You know, it's usually that's the caveat where it's like, yeah, so weak part, the MCU villain. But there's definitely a conscious effort to make Namor part of the plot, you know, make him a very big piece of this story. Also, early on in the movie, when the troops do the first attack, I was like, oh, these guys are scary. I chalked that one up to the musical score as well. The music in this movie, I thought it was great. It was exciting when it needs to be, also eerie when it needs to be. They were almost like specters. The film does a good job at early on getting your fight or flight senses going at the presence of them. Also, the performances are great all around, but you do have your standouts like Angela Bassett. Couple of scenes in particular, I was like, she has never lost it. We all knew that. Yeah. One scene in particular, it was a very emotionally heart-wrenching monologue. And when this film has the characters give these emotional moments because of the passing of King T'Challa, it's very clear, or rather, I should say it's unclear as to whether or not you're seeing the character grieve or the actor grieve. But not in a way that compromised it, in a way that enhanced the experience. It's not like you're sitting there going, oh, I see the actor rather than the character, but in a very real way where you feel the grieving through the screen. But really, it's Shuri's emotional story, her emotional journey, that is the core of this film. That's when I was most engaged right there. In fact, early on in this film, there's a moment where it establishes that a fulcrum in here is Shuri's scientific mind and her spiritual pain are conflicting. Or at the very least, there's friction among those two parts of her. And I was like, I'm in. This is... I think we've hit peak MCU existential crisis. Let's go. And then the movie's like, yeah, but we are the MCU, so we'll circle back around to that in about 2 hours. In much the same way, I'll circle back around to Letitia Wright and how she's a complete and total legend in this film. But first, I mean, I'd love to say everything worked, but not everything did. Because as I was so invested in this emotional journey, this emotional quest in this film, we then go and hang out with side characters. Martin Freeman's brought into this movie again. There's another side character, a new character that's brought into it. Anytime I'm hanging out with these characters, I'm like, I don't think this movie had to be 2 hours, 40 minutes long. It's like you can't phantom edit them out because they are woven into the plot. But when I'm hanging out with these characters, I was thinking a couple of script revisions I think could have streamlined a couple of concepts. We could have saved ourselves some time. Also, as much as I like the not Atlanteans, legally speaking, yeah, when they first showed up, like I said, it was super scary because the musical score is really aiding in that. And it was a new civilization with a new technology that's, generally speaking, new for this world. But after that, when you start getting to know the civilization, I didn't feel the film hammered home the fact that this civilization is as technologically superior and threatening as the film is telling me they're supposed to be. Like, Wakanda's Wakanda, well established there, technologically speaking, ahead of everybody. It's not even close. And this not Atlantis civilization is supposed to feel like they are a threat to Wakanda. But if you're looking at them, their tech, their numbers, you're like, yeah, I think Wakanda could still kick their ass fine. It's like I woke up in a world where Wakanda just only had one aircraft ever in the entire place. But the movie said they're a big threat, so, you know, I guess they're a big threat for this film. So it more falls on Namor, like he's the one who is the threat. And I do also appreciate the fact that director Ryan Coogler doesn't make this movie, you know, MCU comedy to the point of a parody. A couple of humorous moments, yeah, mostly from M'Baku, because Winston Duke is a legend as well. He's just one of those dudes that on screen can say a line and it's like, well, now this is your scene. You did that. He has that superpower. M'Baku isn't used as much in this film as he was the previous film, but when he is used, it is gold. It never felt like I was watching an MCU comedy / parody. I really appreciate that. But in the end, all in all, I thought the film was solid. I give all the props in the world to Ryan Coogler for pulling that off, the entire cast for pulling that off, and I gotta give special love to Letitia Wright. She stepped up to a plate I don't think she ever really signed on to step up to. Chadwick Boseman tragically passes, then she's told she's going from support character to emotional focal point of the entire next film. I can't imagine the pressure of that, and she carried it. She was what made this film at its best. When it was at its best, it was because we were following her emotional journey, her story. When I had the feels, she was there. When I started getting the man tears, she was there. Her emotional quest in this film is absolutely what made it for me. And I'll say I had myself a great time with this one. No alcohol required. All right, so Black Panther Wakanda Forever. I know it comes out in a few days. I feel like asking you, have you seen it? What did you think about it? It's a little, you know, hasty. But after this Thursday, it's a totally applicable question. So have you seen it? What did you think about it? Whatever you thought, comment below, let me know. And as always, if you like what you've seen here and you want to see more, click right here to see more.